And we're rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Filmatic, Justice is Gray, Schneider Cut Edition. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and start off this episode. First of all, for our video listeners, have you noticed anything about the video? Of course you have. Unless you're blind. Because it's black and white. So I thought, yeah.
It's also cut to a specific aspect ratio.
Thank you for mentioning that. To preserve the integrity of my own vision, we went ahead and put that in the 4:3 IMAX aspect ratio, so our video listeners can appreciate that. If you're not watching the video, if you're not on Spotify or YouTube, what are you doing? Check it out. All right, guys. The Suicide Squad. So like I was just telling Justin before this episode started, the Suicide Squad DVD here, this is like the third or fourth episode where I've just, at the start of the episode, come right at you with it. And also we've changed the rules. For those who remember, up till 3 or 4 episodes ago, you had to comment a specific phrase to be entered into the giveaway, which I thought was too hard because no one was doing it. So I moved it to the front as so. And there is no comment. All you have to do is like and share the post. And still no one's done it. So, I'm thinking if no one claims it after this episode, we might do another trivia thing on Instagram like we did for the Shrek giveaway. Something that has more engagement value, if you will. So, anyway, the point is, for this episode, go to the Instagram post announcing the release of this episode, like and share it to your story, and you can be entered, and you can win the Suicide Squad, a great DC movie.
Did it.
You just did it?
Yeah, sorry. Guess it's claimed.
No, but seriously, guys, check that out. So yeah, to add some more context, if you still aren't aware, 1 year ago, we released the episode, the review and analysis of Zack Schneider's Justice League. And we thought it would be only fitting, given we promised at least a dozen times since then that we would watch the Justice is Gray version that he released, the grayscale version of the same exact 4-hour movie. We thought it's only fitting that a year after we'd bring that to you guys. So here we are. We hunkered down, we made some sacrifices, and we did what we had to do. And we watched Zack Schneider's Justice League, Justice is Gray. And Zack Schneider, if you're listening, sorry to break it to you, but I think your movie upon rewatch, let's just say the grayscale didn't do it many favors, in my own opinion. But yeah, I mean, we can jump into that. First of all, though, of course, we're here with Justin Fischler. How's it going?
It's going good. It's good to be back.
I like your room is very tidy. You got a nice outfit.
Oh, thank you.
For our audio listeners, he's wearing a nice yellow shirt with a green plaid overshirt over that, and his bed is very tidy and straight, and he has some beautiful paintings up on the wall. I'm just describing for audio listeners, so I want to give them the due diligence that they deserve. So, how do you do it? How do you keep your room so clean?
You know what? You should. Yeah, I don't know. I guess right. I just.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
It's not even clean, honestly.
That's fair. Let's just jump right into it, Justin. The first thing I want to do is give a little context. I kind of scoured the web before we recorded, and I was looking. Has Zack Schneider himself actually said anything, kind of about the importance of it being in black and white? Is there any reason he thinks it should be this way? And this is all I could find. So we have an interview with Film Junkie. Schneider stated that, quote, "A black and white version of the movie is the true and most ideal one that shall appeal to fans the most. The black and white cut allows the fandom to experience Justice League in a way that the legacy of the story is upheld and sustained with extreme purity. Furthermore, Schneider called his Justice League in black and white a, quote, gray edition instead of using the words black and white, and it calls for a greater importance of the story in his own lore of the films. That's all I could find. To be honest, I'm not really sure if there is any kind of vital reason for it to be in black and white. The only other film of this caliber that I can think of that got the same kind of treatment is Logan. In 2017, I remember it was also released in a black and white version on DVD because it kind of it has those noir, old Western elements in it, and the director kind of extensively talked about how he wanted to kind of do an homage to those kinds of films and put it in black and white. And I felt like I did see a lot of. I saw some clips from that a while back, and I feel like in Logan, wait. Have you seen Logan? No.
No.
Okay. It's actually very good. It's one of my favorites. Definitely the best Wolverine movie. It's very grounded. Yeah.
When it was in theaters, I used going to see Logan as an excuse to go out with my girlfriend, but we didn't actually watch the movie.
Damn.
And I did want to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean it's really good, and we could maybe watch that sometime because there's a lot about it that's worth talking about. And but yeah, no, I mean it's very grounded, very practical. It's R-rated, so it has a lot of visceral action, and I feel like those translated from what I saw very well into black and white and made it a cool new aesthetic that I actually feel like I would want to invest time into watching. Whereas here, you know, there are a few, and we've talked about this during the movie. There are a few little sequences in this one where I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Specifically, the ones where they are, like I said, what makes Logan good, the grounded, more visceral parts, right? When Ben Affleck's Batman is trudging through the snow on his horse to go to Aquaman's village. That looked pretty cool. I won't lie. I like that.
That was the coolest scene, I think, in the black and white.
For
sure. Like the glaciers and shit. And then also, of course, when Steppenwolf throws those horses.
Right. So, for those who don't remember or haven't seen, there's this portion of the film where Steppenwolf is chasing the Amazonians to get the mother box. And there's a lot of horse violence, I feel like, in this movie. There's a lot of portions where horses are just being tossed around, chopped up, in the midst of combat. And that was definitely the most visceral action, I feel like. Also, though, didn't someone get chopped in half?
Yeah. That was maybe just a parademon or something.
Yeah,
I want to say
sorry.
Wonder Woman.
Were you gonna say something?
Oh, no.
Okay. I feel like those portions worked, but what really when you get in those CGI heavy parts, right? Specifically the end, like the final fight, where there's supposed to be sparks and fire flying around, and those big metal boxes are being pushed together, and there's supposed to be smoldering embers. A portal opens, and you're just like, what am I looking at? You know what I mean? I feel like we really put ourselves in a hard place here because there really is not much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we could talk about how it doesn't really have much to do with the black and white aspect, but just like rewatching the movie.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Kind of. I'll be honest, so when we were first going into it, people, diehard fans of, at least specifically my episodes, will remember that I didn't really have any interest in DC going into this. Hadn't seen any DC movies, I don't think, besides like
Dark Knight and whatnot.
Well, yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
besides like
You
the
mean like
Dark Knight
DCEU
trilogy.
movies, so to
Yeah,
speak?
I hadn't seen any DCU movies. I'd seen Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern when I was like a little kid. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I didn't really look forward to watching the 4-hour movie. Anyway, it was more the publicity stunt of it being like dropped at midnight or whatever. It was a whole
Yeah.
thing. But I
Like
actually
3
enjoyed
a.m. or
it
something.
a lot
Yeah.
more than I thought I would. It was like rewatching it, it's like so much of the movie is so boring.
Right.
It's just like the least, and maybe it's because I've already seen like the first time you're watching it, you can tolerate the kind of long-winded like conversation scenes or just like Lewis like sitting on her bed.
Lewis.
The point is, watching it again, you tend to like. I feel like I personally, at least, just didn't care at all about these scenes, and it was just waiting for the next fight scene. You know what I mean?
For
Because
sure.
like,
Well,
yeah.
and I think this kind of harkens back to why a lot of people critique Zack Snyder's movies, specifically his more recent ones, is the drama kind of lags. You know, so it often doesn't really translate well from page to screen. You know, like it feels like the concepts are there, but it's just like so meandering, right?
Right.
The concept of, for example, just off the top of my head, you know, the Amazonians need to warn Diana that an alien invasion is coming. Okay, they're Amazonians. They're not gonna text her. They're not gonna call her, right? You know, right? My first thought is, oh, what are they gonna do? Send a pigeon? You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
No, but it's. I feel like that's a very good choice. Like, okay, they're gonna light a fire and send a bow across the world. That's a very, again, Zack Snyder is big on symbolism, big
It's like
overt, grand. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the beacons of Gondor, right? They like light
Exactly.
the fire. Everyone sees
Yeah, and
it.
I mean, and that's his thing. Zack Snyder gets off on this fucking mythological shit, and I respect it. I mean, I defend Batman v Superman a lot for that, but like the fact that it was like literally, I guess I wouldn't know the actual runtime, but it felt like 5 minutes of the Amazonians starting to light the fire, and they're talking, and it's like very redundant. Then they light it, and it's slow motion, and it's flying, and then you know. It could be very easily cut down to like a 30-second thing, you know?
Yeah, true.
And I think that's like half of this movie.
No, seriously, it is. Well, that's why it's 4 hours long.
Exactly. So, you know, I will say I was a little concerned for myself because I've seen The Batman recently, a few times in theaters. Great movie. Guys, listen to that podcast if you haven't already. It's great. I highly recommend everyone check it out at least. And I liked that so much and liked Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Batman so much. I was a little afraid going into this. I'm like, because like I said, I've always been a staunch defender of Batman v Superman. Thinking, oh no, is this not going to hold up for me? Is Ben Affleck's Batman not going to hold up for me? Given we got just such an amazing interpretation. And I'd say overall it did, because I feel like Zack Snyder has a very specific vision for his Batman, and in both Justice League and Batman v Superman, most people, I feel like, out of all the elements that people shit on or agree on, the most agreeable element is Ben Affleck's Batman. Okay, well, I guess that's debatable, but in my eyes, based on what I've seen, because I feel like his arc from Batman v Superman to now is very pronounced and very, whether you like the direction or not, it's very, I feel like, well done, and doesn't leave any loose ends. You know, it makes sense that Batman's going to be trying to, honor Superman's memory by bringing together a team. Makes sense that he wants to bring him back. Makes sense that at the end he's kind of acting in a rash way, almost suicidal way, as we discussed in the other episode. Kind of, throwing his life away, sort of thing, to atone for his mistakes. I like those aspects, and those held up for me, which I'm glad to say. It's one of the only aspects I enjoyed when we were rewatching this. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Ben Affleck's Batman? I mean, you haven't seen the Batman yet, right?
No, and I haven't seen Batman versus Superman either.
Oh, there you go.
I just remembered. I have seen Man of Steel. I saw that in theaters.
Okay.
So I had seen some DCU, but not in like a decade, and
Yeah.
didn't like really remember anything that happened in it, except there was like this. Dude, I feel like I probably said this in the actual episode about the Schneider cut, like the original. But I just remember there was like a song in the trailer for Man of Steel that was so good, wasn't in the movie. I'm like, dude, this.
Damn.
What a ripoff. Anyway, Ben Affleck's Batman seems pretty chill. He's kind of like, I don't know. Here's the thing, because I haven't seen Batman vs Superman.
Yeah,
it seems
fair.
like in the Schneider cut, it's kind of like you're expected to already be familiar with him, and all of them really. Besides, I guess, like Cyborg and the Flash.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, it's like you know them, you're familiar, you love them, you know. And I'm kind of just like sitting here like, yeah, I guess. I mean, Ben Affleck, he's got like the scruff under the mask, like he pulls it off.
Yeah,
I like Ben Affleck.
You know, you made a comment when we were watching, which is, why is Alfred so young?
Sure.
Right? Isn't that what you said? Or
yeah, I said, why is Alfred barely older than Batman? Which I don't know how old Jeremy Irons is or Ben Affleck, so that could just be completely wrong. But he doesn't look old. Like Jeremy Irons doesn't look like Alfred tier.
Yeah, I think it's because they're trying to, or Zack Snyder, whoever, was trying to model after Dark Knight Returns, which is like a much older Batman, but also Alfred's alive. But there's never really an explanation or, you know, sort of thing given as to why they're both gray-haired old men. And I tried to think about it. I'm like, okay, so if Ben Affleck's Batman is what, like 50, maybe, right? Is that? I feel like that's a good guess.
Seems reasonable.
Jeremy Irons looks like he's, I don't know, 60. So yeah. I mean, and once I never really thought about it, but once I thought about it, it makes sense. Your comment makes sense. It's kind of confusing.
Well, okay, so Ben Affleck's 49.
Okay.
Jeremy Irons is 73.
What?
Yeah, so he looks good for his age.
Jeremy Irons is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, not only
so I guess that makes sense, right? He's what?
20. So when Bruce is born, he's like 24.
Right.
I guess he's a young butler when.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter, but it's cool. That brings up though, Jeremy Irons, always good. Doesn't drop the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
Great Alfred. Great in this movie.
That's why Die Hard 3 is arguably the best one.
Ooh.
Or at least the second best.
Okay. I can see that. But yeah, Jeremy Irons. Good work, buddy. Keep it up.
Keep up looking young.
Seriously though, how does he do? I was not expecting you to say that. Fucking 70.
No, me neither. I literally thought it was gonna say like 62, maybe.
Yeah, there's like no way. I thought there was no way he's older than 65. But oh my god, I want what he's having. Jesus. Let's see. So, were there any portions of this where you were like, I hate this black and white. I need to, like, this sucks in black and white. Anything?
Not really.
Or you kind of got used to it after a little bit?
You get used to it. I'm trying to think maybe a scene where it was just like the underwater scenes were kind of terrible in black and white. Because you couldn't like, especially when they pull up the bubble to talk and like half the screen is just like swirling blur. It's just like gray mush.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
All the little fish, you can't see like any details on them.
Right.
And normally it's like so colorful because there's like schools of different colors of fish. But if it's just all just like black and white fish and like this swirl of gray, it didn't really work that well, I don't think.
Right. And at the same time, I think also there when Steppenwolf breaks into Atlantis or whatever to get the box and he's fighting Amber Heard, she does this thing where she's like sucking water out of him, but then it's supposed to turn into blood. but it just looks the same because it's black and white. So like,
I didn't even know it was supposed to turn into blood.
Exactly. I only know that because I remembered from the movie when I saw it happen, the other movie. But yeah, no, I mean, just stuff like that, just very little minor things. My recommendation, if you're gonna watch this movie, why would you watch it in black and white? That's the other thing. Is like,
it appeals to the fans.
Does it appeal to the fans?
That's what he said it would do.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Maybe it's supposed to be nostalgic, like reading like the newspaper comics or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I didn't really comment on this as much as you did in the beginning, so I want to give my thoughts. Which is, I agree. This does not hold up for me. I liked this a lot more a year ago. I can't exactly put my finger on why I don't like it as much now, beyond what I said before about the meanderingness and how I feel like it could be cut. Like, I feel like if it was cut in half, literally, like we said, like 2 hours, I'd probably like it as much as I did a year ago. Which is kind of messed up if you think about it. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. It doesn't necessarily increase or decrease my want for any more content from this universe. If it comes, it comes. If not, I'm totally fine. Especially after I've seen the Batman, and I'm more excited for those sequels and spin-offs. But so this is kind of interesting. I feel like it's kind of tangentially related between this episode and our last episode, and what you know, because you haven't seen the Batman yet, but do you know how Ben Affleck? Because originally, I don't know if you knew this, the Batman was a Ben Affleck solo Batman movie. That's what the post-credit scene in Schneider cut is about. When he's like, Deathstroke is on the ship. He's like, "Oh, Bruce Wayne's Batman. Let's celebrate." Right?
Yeah.
That's to set up the Batman movie. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay.
You might have told me that a while ago, like when we first watched it.
Yeah, but basically the story is the Ben Affleck Batman movie that was setting up was supposed to be set in Arkham Asylum, and Ben Affleck's Batman is stuck in Arkham Asylum, fighting all his different rogues gallery. But the main villain is, of course, Deathstroke, who's a personal vendetta against Batman because he fucking killed his son or something inadvertently. I don't know, but Ben Affleck was supposed to write and direct it. He dropped from directing it because he wanted to focus on perfecting the script and focus on being Batman. So they started looking for directors, and when looking for directors, they came across Matt Reeves, who is the director of the Batman, who also directed the Planet of the Apes movies, the new ones, if you've ever seen those.
Those are so good.
The last two he did, not the first one.
No, I haven't seen the third one, but the first two are awesome.
Yeah. And they were like, "Hey, do you want to direct this? Ben Affleck's writing the script. He's starring, blah, blah, blah." And Matt Reeves said that he kind of didn't feel like he could creatively do Ben Affleck's version, and that if he were to do a Batman movie, he'd want to do his own kind of vision. So he respectfully passed. Time went on. Ben Affleck got a divorce and went into rehab for alcoholism, and then quit being Batman. This is also post the Whedon reshoots, which we talked about in the Schneider Cut episode, of course, which were hell for everyone involved. So all those things together made Ben Affleck not want to be Batman anymore. So he dropped. And that's when Warner Brothers went back to Matt Reeves and said, "Hey, do you want to make a Batman movie? Do whatever you want." And he said, of course, yes. And that's how we got this kind of solo, detached the Batman movie that just came out. So, yeah. My question for you, I know you haven't seen the movie, but do you feel like Ben Affleck got the short end of the stick in terms of just all those events happening? Do you think that he deserves his chance at a solo Batman movie? Because a lot of people have been talking about that and saying, well, how can we judge him if he never got his own movie? Or how can we rank him compared to the other ones?
Do I think he deserved to?
Okay, all right.
Obviously not. Yeah, I mean,
Yes, he deserved.
do you think the show? No, I think he got what's coming.
I guess that was a poor phrasing of the question. I was gonna say
No.
just do you? Because here's the thing. I was gonna say, do you wish you could see more of him? But I know you already said that you haven't seen his other movies. /
Fair.
you're not as connected. So I tried to make a kind of differently angled question, but it didn't work out. So
I mean, I've been like, here's the thing. It's like Batman versus Superman doesn't sound like a Batman movie. It sounds like just like a superhero cinematic universe type movie where all kinds of shit's coming together. It's like whatever.
yeah,
I've been meaning to watch it, but it's not really a high priority. I feel like a Ben Affleck solo, what you just described, where he's like fighting all these people and fucking Deathstroke, right?
yeah.
He's like chilling. That'd be pretty cool. I would totally watch that.
Yeah. I just think it's so interesting to like explore these stories and fucking like Hollywood of just like discontinued projects. You know, there's fucking Nicolas Cage Superman got canceled way back in the day. I feel like it's cool to see the mythos is still being added to even in modern times, you know.
Yeah.
As time goes on. So yeah, that was cool. What else can we talk about here?
I want to know the lore behind why Joker and Deathstroke are teaming up with Batman to take on
like in the Nightmare timeline.
the Nightmare timeline. Yeah, in the Premonition.
Yeah, so I kind of talked about this a little bit in the Schneider cut episode, but Zack Schneider, Schneider.
Excuse me.
Actually went into detail about what would happen in the sequels.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, like pretty good detail,
Shit.
and also released like storyboards and shit.
Dude, I'm sure you've explained all of this to me before.
Definitely not all of it because it's pretty complicated, but I can read a little bit from this little thing. Okay, this is from a GQ article with Zack Schneider. So, in a perfect world, had you been allowed to release this Justice League the way you envisioned, what would have happened next? Quote, basically, Darkseid comes to Earth. Lex Luthor has found the anti-life equation. He has teamed up with the Riddler, who has deciphered the anti-life equation, and Batman's on their trail. The Riddler tells him, quote, I thought it was a riddle, but it turns out to be the end of the world. But Lex gives the... Thank you. But Lex gives the...
Good that he's also the Joker.
Come on. Don't you know that every Batman villain impression has to be
Sounds
the Joker?
the same, yeah.
But Lex gives the anti-life equation to Darkseid upon his arrival, along with the information that if you kill Lois Lane, now pregnant, you'll be able to control Superman, and he will succumb to the anti-life equation. Now, the anti-life equation is a thing that allows you to control all will in the universe, so you make everyone's will your own. That makes them pretty pliable, as you can imagine. So Darkseid arrives. He gets in a fight with Superman, but he makes it to the Batcave, where Lois is hiding. Batman isn't able to save her. Yeah.
First of all, we've seen Darkseid at his best, and he sucks. He can't fight
we
for
have to bring this up. We have to bring this up again. I don't care if we talked about it before. It was never not going to be funny how quickly they take out Darkseid and how pathetic
he's in battle
he is.
for like 30. It's not even like they truncate the fight scene and we just don't see the whole thing. We see every second of him on the battlefield, and it's like 30 of them. There are like 30 seconds.
Right,
he gets like shot with like 4 arrows. He bleeds, which is more than Steppenwolf ever did. He fights for like... Okay, I give him that he killed the Green Lantern. Sure.
So that was like a shit Green Lantern, though.
Yeah, it was
as far as Green Lanterns go, like, fucking Ryan Reynolds was a better Green Lantern than that fucking lantern. Like...
Yeah, the point is, he literally is taken out with a single hit. He's axed by fucking Ares, right?
Yeah.
He's down for the count. He has to get dragged back to his ship where he...
The funniest part, someone needs to upload that fucking like 5-second clip onto YouTube of the parademons dragging him into the ship, and he's like, and then just the fucking smack of his head into the fucking ground, the flatbed of the ship.
He just faints. He just like passes out, dude.
Which is like the most pathetic thing for your like Thanos times 10 level character that's supposed to be like the devourer of all worlds in the multiverse. Like,
it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And in our question that we were talking about is, why are Zeus and Ares, who were so easily able to fucking destroy this guy, where are they? Why aren't they fighting now? Like,
right. So we should bring up the questions we had during, because there was that
we had
question.
Like a series. It was like
it was us realizing that there were a lot more holes in this movie than we remembered, basically, which is like, okay, so the entire premise, it starts out in the movie, is Superman's dead. His scream, symbolically, we also question, is it symbolically or literally? Is the sound wave of his scream traveling around the world?
And other people can hear it. Like, you're just in Singapore and you're like...
Right. That was one question. Secondly, the movie leads us to believe that that's the reason that the boxes awaken. Okay? To signify that there are no protectors left on Earth, right? Steppenwolf says, no lanterns, no Kryptonians. I'll take this world for Darkseid. Right? Where are the fucking gods of Greece? Because they were fucking fighting 1,000 years ago. And for some reason, they're not here anymore, and they don't count as defenders. Yeah.
The same Amazonian lady was there, right?
Exactly.
It was like the same person. Like,
she was there 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So how is she still here?
The gods wouldn't be like...
And I feel like these aren't just like Superman, like, oh, Superman's a god. Superman's a fucking alien. These are supposed to be like gods. like creators of the universe here. Like,
yeah.
So where are they, and why do they not count as protectors? Also, who was the protector before Superman, I want to say? Because Superman's only been here for like 20 years, right? Or however old he is. Right. Who's the protector in between 1,000 years ago and Superman?
Well, I know Wonder Woman's 5,000 years old, right? Which also would imply she was there, right? When Darkseid first invaded? I don't know when that was.
No, the Wonder Woman's been around since... Actually, I don't know, but I think there was a gap.
I just know Aquaman told the Flash that she's 5,000 years old.
Cyborg told the Flash. Why do I know that?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
It's like, she's 5,000 years old, Barry. Every guy's a younger guy.
Yeah, I was thinking of the other comedic Flash scene where he's trying on hats with Jason Momoa.
Number one or number two? There are some holes there, right? And then after that, we have what I mentioned, which was, okay, so Steppenwolf. I feel like this is a big one. Steppenwolf can smell people who've been... He can smell people who've been near the mother box. He's like, you've been near her. Where is she? Right? Yeah. But he can't smell the actual mother box, clearly, because he's constantly looking for the box and only seeking out the people who've been near the box, who have the smell of the box on them.
Like, what about the box is releasing a smell, but only like near people? Like, it touches it. It does not make sense.
Right. I mean, I guess the explanation is like, oh, it's alien technology and it has like whatever. I mean,
that. I was about to say something. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe it's a chemical reaction where the smell isn't detectable to Steppenwolf unless it's on someone, right? It has to be reacting with a human for him to be able to smell.
Is that a thing?
Not
like,
even human, I guess.
Are there some sort of like drug dogs or some sort of like, is there any kind of comparison like where it's like, oh, they can smell?
Don't know.
Like, you can smell if you've been near weed. They can't smell if you have weed on you.
We can't smell the weed. We can just smell a stoner. It literally,
It's so absurd.
it makes.
Okay.
Why did he have to? He didn't have to make Steppenwolf be able to smell people. He already has the spider that can latch on. He knows the
So
races
true.
that have the cubes. He's like, I'm gonna check with the Atlanteans. I'm gonna check with the Amazonians. So just put the fucking spider on the leader of those
Well, I
people.
mean, I
You don't
guess
need
if
to
we're
like
being
say he
honest,
can
the real
smell them.
reason is because he needs to be able to put fucking Cyborg's dad in danger, right? Because he's a scientist,
guess.
right?
Right.
Like, plot-wise, I get why they did it. It's just like, come on. Could you have thought of some other, like, trail for Steppenwolf to take? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But was there
You have
anything else?
pictures on your Facebook of you with the cube.
This is you, right?
Yeah.
Cyborg Dad 212. That's you, right? On Facebook.
Are you
on
Ladies
Twitter.
Man 217? Are you eBay user? Remember Transformers?
Were you trying to sell the mother box on eBay? Yeah. I'm trying to. I don't know if there was anything else. Yeah.
I don't know about that specifically. I feel like we kind of
Okay.
took a page out of Steppenwolf's book and kind of beat that horse into the ground. But
good.
In terms of, you said you understand why they did it for the plot. Let's talk about things that we don't understand why they did it for the plot, which is Martian Manhunter and his entire character arc.
And the Lois character arc, right?
No, yeah. I was going to say not only the fact that Martian Manhunter didn't fight at all and knew that it was happening.
Right.
He's like, he like mentioned it to Batman at the end of the movie. He's like, yeah,
good.
That was there's an alien invasion. I'll fight next time. But like, why did they include a scene where he goes to Lewis and like convinces? I don't even know what the point of that scene was.
I can't calculate it. Okay, let's take this a step at a time.
Granted, I wasn't paying.
I feel like I was paying
a lot
attention.
of scenes in the second watch where I just missed so much of the dialogue because I'm like just blanking out.
Yeah. I mean, there was one point. Actually, it's kind of funny. You were like, "Wait, what's this chapter called again?" I'm like, I don't know. I was staring at my keyboard, which is absurd. Because it's what I was doing. I was just like, just like looking.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's do this a step at a time. Are we calling her Lewis now? Is that what we're doing? Is that the...
I'm just quoting the tweet, the famous tweet.
Okay. So Lois, her arc in Batman v Superman. Superman dies. Lois Lane is distraught. She's depressed. She stops going to work. What is there to live for? She goes every day to the monument, gives some fucking freeloader cop coffee for no reason. Fuck that guy. I don't know what he's protecting, what he's doing. What's his job? Maybe he's an incompetent cop, and they're just like, yeah, go guard the Superman statue, asshole.
Yeah, make sure no one vandalizes it.
Well, to be fair, in Batman v Superman, someone vandalizes the statue.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it also gets destroyed.
Right, so there's just rubble there.
It's like his head in a pile of rock.
Exactly. Anyway, she goes to the monument every day. Oh no, what do we do? Smelling in Superman's clothes and shit. Okay, cool. Enter the Martian Manhunter, an alien from outer space who's disguised himself among humans for multiple movies as the General from Man of Steel. So he was the General from Man of Steel.
Was he in Man of Steel?
Yeah, he was the General. Like the main general. I don't remember his name.
So in the original Man of Steel movie, it was Martian Manhunter.
Well, we know now that it was Martian Manhunter. At the time, he's just a general. I don't know if at the time Zack Schneider was like, yeah, this guy's, you know what I mean? But like,
did Zack Snyder direct Man of Steel, the original one?
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude! I simply did not know that. He didn't do Batman versus Superman, did he?
Yes, he did.
No. What? So he's got his fingers in the whole operation.
This is his, like,
he didn't
trilogy.
Okay, but he did not do Wonder Woman.
No. That was Patty
And
Jenkins.
He definitely didn't do Aquaman.
No, that was James Wan.
And he's not going to do The Flash.
No, that's Andy Muschietti, who directed
And there's
It. Yeah.
And there's not going to be a Cyborg movie.
No, because Warner Brothers and him have like a feud.
Because
which we talked about.
They pretty much did his whole story already.
Because they ruined his story, and he claims that there was on-set abuse, which is also corroborated by other actors on other Joss Whedon projects.
Really?
Yeah. So he has no beef with Zack Schneider. He has beef with what's his fucking name? Whedon. And
so why don't they just do a Schneider Cyborg movie?
Because Warner Brothers doesn't want to work with him.
Oh,
because
so
they're like, no, we didn't. Even though he's like, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Zack Schneider, the millionaire, just do it without Warner Brothers.
Because
do they have a copyright?
Yeah, you can't make a movie about Cyborg without Warner Brothers.
Okay, so cut that question, bro.
As if.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, this is like the.
Yeah.
This is like the. Scene all over again.
Well, now I have to censor that.
Sure.
Okay, so how do we even get to this fucking question?
What question? I don't even know what
we're talking about Cyborg.
Fuck Cyborg, I don't care.
What were we talking? I was talking about something. Oh, Martian Manhunter.
We're talking about Lewis.
No,
and her fucking...
I was telling you that Martian Manhunter.
Oh, right. He was the general.
In Man of Steel, the general, and he's also the general in Batman v Superman.
Okay.
Which makes sense, okay? Makes sense. Martian Manhunter, he's disguising himself as a general to witness these supernatural events, the birth of Superman, this whole whatever happened in Batman v Superman. In this movie, following that, Martian Manhunter decides to disguise himself as Martha Kent, go to Lois Lane's apartment, and tell her that life is still worth living and she should move on. And then leaves. And then Lois decides she's going to do that, but decides she's going to take one more trip to the monument, and then Superman comes back to life. What was the point? Is my question.
Right. Because I think people could say the whole point was so she'd go to the monument just in time to save Batman from being decimated by Superman.
No, I understand that.
But like, she already goes to the monument all the time. In terms
of character development, it's like, I get it. I like that, actually. It's like, okay, you need to move on, bitch. All right, there's other things to do, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But then she never gets to reach that point because Superman gets magically brought back to life. So it's like, what's the development there? You know what I mean? In terms of Martian Manhunter, I literally cannot perceive why his motivations would lead him to do that. Because it's not helping the plot, right? Because he didn't say, go back to the monument one last time. Like, he doesn't know about that or say that, so that we can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah, dude,
I'm lost.
Imperceptible.
Yeah.
Also, there's the whole thing where the Flash goes back in time and tells Bruce Wayne that Lewis is key. But why didn't...
Because
if he did that...
It was supposed to be relevant to one of the future movies that Zack Snyder talked about.
It could still be useful information.
Yeah, no, it would have been way more useful here, and it would have had better payoff because it just happened in Batman v Superman.
Exactly.
But for some reason, Schneider decided to save it for his non-existent sequels.
I hope they're existent. That'd be cool.
I feel like either an animated series, maybe a limited live-action series. I don't see this becoming a movie. I don't see a movie happening. Given what he describes, which I never even finished talking about.
True.
Okay, so let's just jump back into that real quick. We left off with Darkseid arriving to the Batcave where Lois Lane is hiding. Batman isn't able to save her, and Darkseid kills her as Superman shows up. And Superman, in his grief, succumbs to the anti-life equation, and then Earth falls. So we cut to a distant future, which we see in the Nightmare post-credit scene, where a band of misfit superheroes have stayed alive throughout this insanity. Their plan? To find one of the mother boxes that remains, and using Cyborg's power, jump Flash back in time to the Batcave to give Bruce an advantage in the fight so he can save Lois. In the meantime, while they're hanging out, there's a scene planned where Joker tells the story of killing Robin. There's a flashback to the events of BVS, or before the events of BVS, to see a younger Bruce and see what put him on the dark road he got put on. You see where his hatred for the Joker comes from, and why he's enshrined the Robin suit in the Batcave. Meanwhile, in the future, the Joker knows where his stash of kryptonite is, because they need that as a weapon. But they fail. As Superman kills everybody, Flash gets out of his reach, goes down the cosmic treadmill, and ends up in the Batcave. It warns Bruce, as we see in Batman vs. Superman. And it was the wrong time? Okay, so you haven't seen Batman vs. Superman. In that scene, when the Flash jumps back in time, he's like, Bruce, Lois is the key. Am I too early? I'm too early. And then he, disappears.
Oh, gosh. Yes, yes. So he's been to the Batcave before. Why did he... Oh, but I guess it hadn't happened.
In the future.
Until... Yeah, okay.
So then he goes back a second time, which will be shown in the new movie. And he gets it right this time. He goes to a correct time to warn Bruce. And then in the new timeline, Bruce sacrifices himself to save Lois. And then Superman gets there in time, and Darkseid retreats. And the final act will be a giant war between Darkseid and all of his minions, all of the new gods, the Fury, Granny Goodness, the whole, I don't know who that is, the whole pantheon of new gods versus the Amazonians who come off the island. I'm reading this quote, this is verbatim. Atlanteans rise out of the water. Wonder Woman is their new queen, and Arthur is the king of Atlantis. Then the armies of men come together. That means the whole world, the whole army of the entire planet. They have a huge battle, and they win. The end is the epilogue, where it's 20 years later, and Superman's son has no powers. He's born without the powers of a god. But in the end, he becomes the new Batman.
Dude, that's crazy. Dude, that would actually be so entertaining. This movie's 30 hours long. It's literally over a day.
Fucking cranium of Zack Schneider, bro.
Dude, that's awesome. I would 100%. That is literally insane. That's a really good idea session. He sat down with his friend and he's just like, dude, you know what'd be badass?
Yeah, literally. It's like, all right, hear me out, all right? So the final act, Darkseid, all his minions, the new gods, Granny Goodness, who I just don't know who that is.
Fuck. Okay, I'm putting out a wanted ad. Who is Granny Goodness?
Should we Google search it or just wait to see if anyone responds to the wanted ad?
Dude, that's the giveaway question. That's the trivia.
Yeah, comment who's Granny Goodness. And you instantly win. Oh my god. But yeah, no, feeling most people probably left the episode after I started describing the plot to that movie. But oh wait, okay, here's something else. The final scene, so he's becoming the new Batman. The final scene is Lois taking her son into the Batcave. Yeah, I just thought I'd finish that.
Okay. Kind of crazy that Superman has a son with no powers who becomes Batman.
That's a really good idea, I gotta say.
I do like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I guess what we can maybe conclude is that perhaps justice isn't gray.
I don't think justice should be gray. That's my review for this movie.
Clip it.
Clearly, if anyone's still listening, this is a tough one for us. Because it's there's not much to talk about, but also not even much to riff off of, Pop Star or Shrek, where we can talk about that for hours. This is just what are we doing, I don't know.
Yeah. I heard the Batman episode was really long. Did it beat the Shrek episode?
It beat the Shrek episode by 5 seconds.
No way.
Yeah.
Damn.
And we didn't even finish, after we released it, I was just thinking about the movie, and I'm like, wow, there's 3 scenes I'd really wanted to talk about we didn't even talk about. Like, there's just a lot.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's like you got to see the movie.
I want to. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? I mean, I think what could rival that episode is the Madagascar episode.
Yeah. It's got the potential.
Also, this is interesting. I realized I wasn't planning to bring this up live on the podcast with you, but why not? We can cut it if we have to. There was a kink in the armor. We were out here. We were talking, hey, we've seen all the Shrek franchise installments. We've seen all the movies. We've seen all the shorts. Obviously, we don't count TV shows. We don't count those. Not that there is, but I'm saying, like, I know there's a Madagascar show. For anything, I want to say it for the future. We're not counting TV shows. Okay?
True.
You know, one thing that isn't a TV show, that is Shrek, that we did not cover.
Hold up.
Puss in Boots, Trapped in an Epic Tale, Netflix interactive short film.
What?
Puss in Boots has fallen into a magic book ruled by a sneaky storyteller. Only you can help our hero find his way into this interactive story. It's a literally an interactive movie on Netflix that we can look into.
When did it come out?
I'll tell you. 2017, and it's 35 minutes long.
Dude, I'm embarrassed.
I know, and I know. I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, we have to be straight with our listeners. We failed you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's... Should we release like a short episode about it?
We could.
Oh, we can include it in our Puss in Boots 2 episode, which is coming out
later this year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, guys, check out the Puss in Boots Last Wish trailer, released a week or two ago. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
I think we agree. I know that this is a pretty hot take based on what I've seen in discourse online.
True.
We're not big fans of the animation, guys.
Everyone I saw, because apparently everyone's obsessed with it now. And let's... Okay, we'll get to that. It really just does not look good. It doesn't. It looks like it doesn't have... Because the Puss in Boots movie itself, the first one, the original, it still looks... It has the same animation as the Shrek quadrilogy.
Right, but, and as those movies go on, from Shrek 1, 2, 3, 4, Puss in Boots, the animation is the same, but the quality gets better. Higher resolution, more things going on, maybe a little smoother, but it's always the same core physics and style. Yeah. In this new one, they've basically done a 2D/3D hybrid, very similar to the Spider-Verse movie. For people who've seen that, I guess because of the success,
it's a little more like 3D than that.
It's like, more like... No, it's definitely... So the Spider-Verse movie is like 2D at its base, but has all these other elements in different like frame rates and shit going on. Whereas Puss in Boots, this is like 3D at its base, but has 2D and other things going on.
It's like a side scroller.
Right. There's a specific scene where he's like fighting a giant fucking monster or whatever, and it's just like, it starts out and you're like, okay, this is Puss in Boots, and then he like turns into like you said, 2D side scroller, like a DS game. He's like flipping around. It's, I don't know, I don't like it.
It really just, I actually think it's a cool looking animation style. I just don't want to see it in my Puss in Boots.
I agree.
It doesn't belong there. Well, and something we talked about in the Shrek episode, the first Puss in Boots movie suffered from it, just like Shrek 4 suffered from it. The actual like writing and content of it feels a little bit divorced from the original Shrek trilogy. It doesn't have the same charm to it.
Which might be intentional. Yeah,
it could be. It makes sense it'd be intentional, at least for the Puss in Boots movie, because they're trying to give it its own image. This is an even step further. It's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Granted, it's just a trailer. I haven't seen the full movie, but that's what it seems like.
The real question
Some of the jokes I liked.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So, no, go ahead. You first.
I was just gonna say I liked the, despite the, I guess.
Well, I think we're gonna bring up the same thing. The wish
It might
thing,
do.
right?
Yeah. Oh, how it has I like the montage of all his deaths.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's like when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, this montage is kind of funny. All right, I like this.
Yeah,
this
it's pretty
tone.
entertaining.
And then it hit me as a Shrek connoisseur, as a consumer of all Shrek properties, minus the one exception. Canonically, doesn't line up, guys. It doesn't line up. Quote Shrek 2, line 47. No, but quote
It'd be an honor
Shrek
to lay one of my 9 lives on the line.
Thank you.
One of his 9 lives. If this is a sequel to the first Puss in Boots, which still makes it a prequel to all of the Shrek movies, that means he would know at this point in Shrek 2 that he only has 1 life left. So he's not laying one of his 9 lives on the line. It's just his life.
Well, I read a synopsis somewhere. To be fair, it could be not legit / a fan theory that the plot of the movie is to restore his 9 lives. Like the last wish is some sort of mythological whatever for him to restore his 9 lives.
That'd actually be kind of sick.
Right, because then we're back to square one and everything works for Shrek. Unless this takes place after Shrek. I do wonder if there'll be Shrek references, because there aren't any in the original Puss in Boots.
No, because it's a prequel, even.
Right, of course, that makes sense.
I thought if the second movie, The Last Wish, was... If it took place after the Shrek series, it would have been insane if at least one of the deaths in the montage was Shrek related, either an event from Shrek 2 or beyond, or just completely new event but included like Shrek characters or like references his involvement in the crew. That would have been a very nice homage. But
yeah, I agree. I guess we'll have to see.
Just for what it's going to contribute to the storyline of the Shrek universe is really my main interest in it, because I'm not expecting it to be really funny. I mean, it could be. I mean, I like Antonio Banderas. Salma Hayek was a good character. I'm hoping they bring back the ooh.
I agree. I like that joke.
it was so bad the first time. But then
didn't we say it gets better and then it gets worse? Like, it's bad the first time. I'm pretty sure we said this. It's bad the first time. And the second time you're like, eh. And the third time it's like, all right, you've hit the mark. And they do it again one more time and you're like, oh, come on.
Dude, I feel like if they keep doing it, it might just get funnier.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be cool if like the movie is a prequel and it ends with him in the I'm embarrassed. The bar. The rotten apple, the
poison apple, I think. Right?
Yes, the poison apple. Like if it transitions into the events of Shrek 2, I'd be a sucker for that. That work. I really, really hope the inevitable Shrek 5 or whatever it's going to be called is not this animation though, because
I feel like it will be though, right? Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah, I know.
Why do they even need to make a Shrek 5? If it's not going to be as good, there's no need. It's like they already blew it with Shrek 4.
If there's some sort of golden opportunity and they can bring back all the same people from the original, I'll take it. Even if it's a different animation style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man.
Zack Schneider's Shrek.
I would watch that. When's Schneider dropping the pretzel cut?
Onions have layers edition.
True.
Sorry, what were you saying?
The pretzel cut?
Pretzel cut.
Yeah, it's in like a sepia, like brown scale, and the aspect ratio is the shape of a pretzel.
Didn't we make this joke already?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, he still hasn't dropped it, even though we called him out for it.
Right. Yeah, no. I got a feeling there's going to be very few opportunities for out-of-context spoilers for this episode.
Nah, dude. I'm sure there's plenty we can come up with.
That's true. I'm just trying to think, is there anything we haven't touched on? We're hitting an hour mark here.
True. And we can talk about future episodes besides Madagascar and Puss in Boots.
Sure. Yeah, I guess while we're talking about this kind of miscellaneous section of the podcast, any good movies you've seen that you want to...
Sure. True. What have I watched recently? and just watched both Mamma Mia movies for the first time.
Oh boy, you give a guy a girlfriend.
Here we go again.
No, I'm just kidding. Are they
Have you
any
seen
good?
them?
No, I have not.
No. Okay.
I've heard
The first one,
plenty about it, but yeah.
right. First one's entertaining enough. I don't think I would really even recommend it to someone or watch it again. But like, it was like entertaining enough. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I
Okay,
can
that's
say. I'm
fair.
not the biggest
Yeah,
ABBA fan, so it seems. Here's the thing: the idea is like a pretty creative and entertaining like rom-com like idea. Like, girl's having a wedding, she doesn't know who her dad is, so she invites the three contestants of who the dad might be to the wedding, and they don't know
yeah,
it.
it's a pretty good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like a good idea, but who came up with like this abstract concept to just make that specific plot also like an ABBA jukebox musical? Like, where did that come from? It's like fine, whatever, but ABBA's like,
yeah.
why ABBA? Anyway, the second one, terrible. It was so bad. Also, it's like 2 hours long, which is just not necessary.
Eek, not a good rom-com time.
And
Not a good.
and they
Yeah,
literally, not even exaggerating, reuse like 5 of the same songs. And ABBA has like so much music. They have like
I think the
20
problem is that
fucking
general
studio
population doesn't
albums.
know more than like two, right? Like, ask a random person on the street, name 3 ABBA songs. Dancing Queen.
Dancing Queen.
Like that's it. Like,
No, that's the only ABBA song I knew. But
yeah.
like, I mean, up until recently.
So you're saying
But
that even though it wouldn't have been popular, they should have gone full send with the ABBA theme.
I
If they're
think
gonna if
people
you're
like
gonna do ABBA,
ABBA
do ABBA. You know what I mean?
with that too. Dude, I'm not even kidding. All of the music in the movie is ABBA. Even just instrumental background music
Jeez,
is just the instrumental versions of ABBA songs.
that's like kind
It's
of like
crazy.
if that's intentional,
No,
like that's
it's
funny.
weird. If
Like
it's
that's kind of
no,
funny.
it's an accident. They accidentally
You know what I mean?
composed
If it's like
ABBA music.
intentionally like a joke, like that's funny.
Oh no, it's just to be the ABBA.
Okay, yeah, then it's not funny.
It's just weird. It's just like,
Yeah,
who likes ABBA that much? Anyway,
true.
no, dude, they reuse. They do the full. Most of it's just like little clips of the songs. Not little clips, but like maybe a few minutes, maybe most of the song, and it's topical to the story usually. They incorporate. They change the lyrics for a lot of the songs, and they actually had original members of ABBA like come and help rewrite the lyrics to work with the plot of the
Oh
movie,
shit, that's cool.
which is like cool. That's kind of like dedication. They used the full length, like from start to finish, of Dancing Queen in both movies, and they just did a lot of the same songs in both movies, which feels kind of lazy. And they kind of changed the like continuity of the storyline by like. So the second one is like 50% prequel, maybe even more than 50%. It like takes place in the 70s for part of it, but it like directly contradicts shit that they talk about in the first movie in the 70s, and the timeline does not make sense at all. In the first movie, which is 2008, the main character, or one of the main characters, Sophia, is 20 years old exactly in 2008. The second movie is about her mom in 1976 getting pregnant and giving birth to her in 1976. So she's not 20 in 2008. She's
She's like 50.
explicitly no,
Yeah.
no, she's like in her 30s though, right?
Hmm.
And then in 2018, when they released Mamma Mia 2, Here We Go Again, she's 30, which would make sense because it's 10 years after the first movie. But that would make sense if she was actually 20 in the first movie, which they contradict in the second movie. And on top of that, oh wait, maybe she's not even 30. She's 25. She's 25 because the grandmother, played by Cher, shows up. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up spoilers for Mamma Mia 2.
Okay. I'm sure it's fine.
But dude, Cher shows up and she's like, I'm ready to be your grandmother. And Sophia's like, you're 25 years too late. I'm like, 25? You're like in your 40s. You were born in 1976, bro.
I've never heard of that kind of storyline done with like a grandfather or mother. Like, you know, this is a classic, like, my father wants to come back in my life. It's too late. I raised myself on my own, but it's like your grandmother, like It's too late.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to sound off the spoiler alarm because these are
It's the spoiler alarm here,
spoilers
guys.
for Mamma Mia 2 and maybe 1, I guess. The Meryl Streep, who's Sophia's mom in the first one, the second movie starts with her being dead. She's just dead, and the whole movie.
They just couldn't
Well,
get Meryl
most of the
Streep
movie.
back.
No, yeah, it's them trying to get the 3 fucking cubes to bring her back to life. No, really, what it is half, maybe more than half the movie is Meryl Streep in the 70s, played by what's her name? She was Deborah from Baby Driver.
Lily James.
Yeah, Lily James, that's her. And she's Meryl Streep in the 70s. And then the modern day part is Sophia trying to like make her mom proud by turning her old like hotel into like a really famous like big hotel. And at the very end, she has like the launch party, which almost went wrong but was saved at the last minute. She has the big like release party for this hotel. She's like, "Oh, it just dropped. Everybody come to the hotel." And then the grandmother flies in on a helicopter. And Sophia's like, "You haven't been here my whole life." And she's like, "But I'm here now." And then she sings ABBA, but it's Cher, so it sounds like a Cher song.
Right.
And yeah.
Does it work
and the
out?
movie, yeah, it all works out because the parallel, which they did kind of well, it was Meryl Streep in the 70s and Sophia, her daughter, like in 2018. Or another way they could solve the weird time fluctuation is just by saying that the first movie took place like in the 90s.
Right.
Something like that. You know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
the new movie, there's like iPhones, which like newer generation iPhones than would have existed if you subtracted the years. The point is, it's got Lily James in the 70s pregnant and giving birth to Sophia, and that has Sophia getting pregnant and giving birth to her daughter, and it shows them like pregnant or like with their baby walking, and it's like Lily James walks into a room, and then it's what's her name? It's Sophia walking into the same room but in the present, because both movies take place in the same location, just at different time periods. They did pretty good with that scene, and then it kind of most of the movie was terrible, and like the best parts were just seeing like the 3 dads in the 70s, what they were like when they were like in their 20s. They were pretty funny.
That's cool.
But there was a Meryl Streep ghost scene at the end of the movie.
No way. What?
Yeah.
She's just there, like Return of the Jedi, just watching.
She literally comes back and sings, I think it's the title track, like it's like the Mamma Mia song. She sings it, which was in the first movie. Well, I mean, she's not alive. She doesn't like look like a ghost. Like she's like blue and like shimmering.
That's what I was thinking.
I want to see there's
just like a floating like blue like.
No. She just shows up and is singing, and like her and Sophia are like singing to each other at the baptism of her child, which is again mirrored with the baptism of Sophia in the 70s. I know they had to bring some My Big Fat Greek Wedding, like Orthodox.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow.
That was gonna do a Mamma Mia episode. Or we kind of just did.
There you go. We just finished it. Wow. I mean, I miss rom-coms. I feel like they're not as prevalent today. I was getting a ton of ads for this newest rom-com. I literally know nothing about beyond the ads. So, just for clarity. Seemingly, Jennifer Lopez is playing herself. And for some reason, decides to marry a random man in the crowd. I don't know if it's implied maybe as a publicity stunt. I haven't even seen the trailer. This is based off a 30-second ad. So
this sounds hilarious.
So the guy she picks is Owen Wilson, not as himself, but just like a random guy played by Owen Wilson. And
That'd be funny if she picks a random guy.
Yeah. He's like, wow, I guess we're getting married. I guess she's supposed to. She's like a diva. She's a pop star. And he's just like a cool ass, like normal guy. And the comedy ensues from there. It's called Marry Me, I think.
Okay.
I don't know why I brought that up. My main point is there are not many rom-coms nowadays. The age of rom-coms and just standard like traditional comedies, I feel like, are very much a 2000s thing that have faded away to make room for bigger movies. I feel like, of course, God himself, Ben Stiller. When was the last time you saw a Ben Stiller movie? You know what I mean? Like,
That like came out like a new one.
Yeah.
Maybe like Walter Mitty, which also wasn't
True.
that famously like he was saying it was like the last movie he was going to act in, and he was officially going to just start directing.
yeah.
Obviously,
To be
that didn't
fair,
happen.
was he in anything else?
I think he has been. I'm pretty
I
sure.
know that he's directed and created a new series that's like on Apple TV or something. Because I saw some
Wasn't
interview.
he in the Meyerowitz stories?
Ooh,
Doing
true.
Selected.
Yeah. But yeah, I want Tower Heist too. Is that too much to ask
Ben
for?
Stiller?
Eddie Murphy's working again. Ben Stiller's working again.
Sure.
Casey Affleck is a bigger star now. Make it happen.
Hey man, he was in Ocean's 11.
That's facts.
You know, Ben Affleck was in a new movie recently called Deep Water.
I heard about that. You've seen it?
Apparently, I've not seen it. It doesn't look good, and it got terrible reviews. But I'm interested. Apparently, the movie he plays, like, I don't know what he does. I don't know if it's a hobby or if it's professional, but he like keeps like snails as pets.
Yes, of course, the article you told me about.
Yeah,
Where
and so
what
he's
they
like
said, Ben
really,
Affleck is like really good with snails.
yeah. Apparently, he worked very well with the snails, and was very gentle with them, and like didn't. It wasn't
Killed
an
him.
issue. And
Yeah.
who was in the movie with him? Was it
Anna de Armas, who
Anna de
I
Armas,
believe at the
yeah.
time of filming was his girlfriend.
Okay. She apparently was disgusted by the snails and like had to touch them, and it was like grossed out, and her character was grossed out, but it wasn't acting apparently. I'm pretty much like quoting the article at this point. It was pretty interesting read.
I mean, we could drop it in the annotated bibliography.
It was an interview between like some magazine or website or something and the snail wrangler from the movie.
Right. That's kind of, yeah, well, guys, check that out. We'll put that in the description below.
Check the annotated bibliography.
Yes. Also in the annotated bibliography, you're going to find a train sound effect, but it's not actually a train. I'm not going to give any context to that. You'll just have to look and see what we put down there and figure it out for yourselves, because I feel like I should not give context for that.
Yeah.
That does bring up the topic, though. Sound effects in movies.
The Wilhelm scream.
For real, though. No, if I was like, name 3 popular sound effects in movies, you'd be like, okay, Wilhelm scream.
The metal impact sound effect. It's like, ding. I've heard it a lot, and they use it in
Okay.
Half-Life 2.
There you go. What's it? I feel like there's got to be another one.
Or it's like metal breaking. Like a. There has to be another one.
Sorry for the silence, guys. We're just thinking of movie sound effects.
You'll hear random sound effects play during that silence.
God damn it.
How did you play that so
Sorry,
I can
hold
hear
on. Did you? Sorry, I can't make it stop. Okay. Did you know we have a soundboard now?
on Zencaster?
Yes, on Zencastr, our preferred.
Can I access it?
No, only I can access it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is.
The only problem is sometimes when I click it, it plays it multiple times for some reason, and I can't make it stop.
Laugh. Is that the actual Joker?
Yeah, I just downloaded the Jared Leto Joker laugh to do that. Let's see what else we have. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to sit here and test out
Jesus, yeah.
like a sound, like a fucking Skype call. Okay.
Maybe we could do a Wild West episode.
Oh, guys, never mind. You're not going to respond. I was going to say, guys, like, leave a comment if you want to hear us do it.
We could do another
West.
poll on Instagram of like what the next episode should be.
We could do that.
Because remember, we did that last time and did none of the options. It was like Well, we just did now, because Justice is Great was one of those options that we explicitly told people not to vote for.
I think we need maybe the community doesn't listen to us because we don't listen to them. You know, maybe we need to start. Yeah.
What did they say though?
I don't remember what the result was.
I had a request. I told them to take it up with you, but I could just tell you. They requested an animated movie called, I think it's called Happily Never After. I had never heard of it.
Who's they?
It was
someone. Okay, you didn't have to say, but yeah. So what's it called?
Happily Never After, but there's an apostrophe after the N. I'm like 90% sure that's what it's called.
2006 film.
Is that what it's called?
Okay, synopsis. Fairy tale land becomes a realm of happy endings gone wrong when Cinderella's wicked stepmother, Freda, joins forces with legendary villains to tip the balance between good and evil. With events spinning wildly out of control, Cinderella, or Ella for short, must lead a resistance movement to defeat Freda and restore order to the kingdom.
Yeah, dude, Patrick Warburton's in it. John DiMaggio.
It's over.
Fresh Prince Jr., Sigourney Weaver, Tom Kenny.
I want to watch it just based off the names you just said. And it's on HBO.
Yeah, she said it's really good. And there's also a sequel that is probably terrible because it was like direct to video, but it is hilarious. It's called Happily Never After 2. Snow
none of the same
White,
people in
Another Bite at the Apple, and it's an @ sign.
It has a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah, I believe that.
No, but the original is on HBO, so I'd be down.
If we watch the original, I think we might have to watch the second one just to comment on it.
Right, because that's how we do things. We do need to decide what our next episode's going to be, because there haven't really been any new movies. You know, we talked about the Batman. Nothing really new has come out yet.
I saw Dune and Jackass 4 in theaters.
Dude, I want to see Jackass so bad. Is it good?
It was very good.
Oh,
yeah. As a devoted Steve-O fan, I've been like following his YouTube channel for a while. He's coming to the city I'm in. Shit, it might be too late. It's literally Sunday, dude. What? Fuck.
Damn. Rip. What's he doing?
He does something called the Bucket List Tour, which is where he does like stand-up comedy and then also shows like fucking like content like never before seen, like footage of like his stunts and injuries and shit. It's apparently really gruesome. He claims that like every show he plays there's at least like someone who like passes out.
What?
Dude, it sounds awesome. So good. If I can't get tickets for this, I'm gonna be really upset. It's my fault, obviously, for waiting till the last minute. But
you gotta do it, and then we can do an episode where you talk about it, or like do this part of an episode, freestyle maybe. But like that'd be interesting to hear about.
Yeah.
All right, Justin. This is something I've been wanting to do for.
Yeah.
That's a lie. This is something cool I thought that we could do. All right. This is on dailysuperheroes.com. Which DCEU Justice League member are you? Do you want to take this quiz? Can I quiz you? Can I find out what Justice League member you are? Okay.
Yeah, just ask me the questions.
Let's do it. What is your college major of choice?
Are there like
marine biology, history, computing, sports science, forensic science, journalism?
Marine biology.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Question number 2. Which of these sports or activities do you think you're best at? Swimming, rodeo, boxing, 100-meter sprint, shooting, taekwondo.
What? I'm probably terrible at all of those.
I guess it's like if you had to choose one. Swimming, rodeo,
shooting?
boxing.
I don't know.
Shooting, okay.
I mean, I'm like kind of a weak swimmer, and I haven't done any of the other ones.
I feel like it's very obvious what they're trying to do here and which ones correlate with which hero. But okay.
Swimming. Rodeo. You're good with whips and lassos, bro.
What's the first thing people in a crowded room would notice about you? You remind them of someone. Your huge guns. How smartly dressed you are. How uncomfortable you are. Your watch and phone.
Hold up. Go through those options again real quick.
Okay. You remind them of someone. Your huge guns.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's got to be like Wonder Woman. Huge guns is Aquaman.
How smartly dressed you are, Bruce Wayne, I feel like.
Yeah, but that's also the watch and the phone, right?
True. How uncomfortable you are, Flash.
The Flash, obviously.
Your beauty.
Oh, that's Wonder Woman, I guess. Okay, well then for me, it's gotta be I remind people of someone.
Cool. All right. How old are you compared to your peers? The oldest. One of the oldest. One of the youngest. Mid-range, but on the younger side. The youngest. Mid-range, but on the older side.
What does that mean? My peers. I'm like the same age.
Okay, so mid-range, but are you like older than most people or younger than most of your friends?
I guess older.
So stupid.
Yeah, I guess.
Fucking dailysuperheroes.com. Okay. How are you feeling right now?
Batman's age? The Flash's age?
Yeah, literally. How are you feeling right now? Bored, uncomfortable, restless, motivated, comfortable, depressed?
I guess comfortable.
Okay. How physically attractive do you think you are? I'm not bad. I'm sexy and I know it. I wouldn't like to say. I don't like what I see when I look in the mirror. I'm attractive, but I don't boast about it. There are more important things to worry about.
Fuck. I'm gonna go with that last one.
That's stupid. I don't know how many questions there are. Okay. What do you like when it comes to technology? Prefer to do things manually?
Do you like hacking? Driving expensive cars?
You prefer to do things manually? Technological wizard. It's basically a part of me. I don't really care for it. It's slow for my liking. I don't understand it.
I guess because I have like a kind of a shitty computer, I'm gonna say it's slow for my liking. Also, good. How different is it's part of me or I'm a wizard? Like, that both just means you're good at technology.
Are you cyber or are you better?
True. It's literally part of me.
What's your idea of a perfect date? A classy restaurant, a country getaway, a museum, a nightclub, a sports event, or the Apple Store?
Dude, Jesus. What's your idea of the perfect date? You're applying for a job at a dog. At
a veterinarian's office.
A veterinarian's office, yeah. You are...
Bring a hot dog. Do you...
What were the options again? There's the Apple Store or restaurant.
Apple Store, sports event, nightclub, museum, country getaway, classy restaurant.
This is an ideal date?
Yes. Perfect date.
I like the museum concept. I feel like the obvious answer is like a restaurant. Like, it's not like my first date with a girl, I'm gonna be like, do you want to go to a museum? That's more like if I know her a bit and I'm like, she might like a museum.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Cool. And
black. Water.
Which of these words appealed to you the most? Promptness, normality, love, fun, justice, courage.
Appeal? What is that?
I'll do it again.
I mean, no.
Okay.
I got it. I'm going to say fun.
Okay. Here we go. This is the second to last question, actually. Which of these would you say is your biggest weakness? You don't fit in. Your brashness. You're impatient. Your phobias. Your morals. You're too compassionate.
Patience.
All right. last question coming up. Which of these movies would you watch if given the chance? I, Robot, Jaws, Bolt, Gladiator, The Notebook, E.T.
Okay, let's see. Out of
This
those,
is actually kind of good for the podcast. So, like, I, Robot. What are your thoughts?
used to be my favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
I
Respect
loved
that.
Will Smith. I still like him. I just haven't seen anything with him in it for like in a while. But
Right.
like iRobot is awesome. I Am Legend is great. Shark Tale is incredible. Um, you
I
know,
respect that a
After
lot.
Earth,
You know,
he was the best part of it.
right. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, that's like my immediate answer. But the question, I mean, I haven't seen Jaws, and I really want to, so I'd probably watch that before I would rewatch iRobot, which I've seen like 30 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's probably asking me more like what I would like. So I
Yeah.
guess iRobot's probably the best answer to
Okay.
get the most accurate superhero diagnosis.
Well, you got Aquaman. You're
Bruh.
Aquaman, a.k.a. Arthur Curry. You're cool, no nonsense, and tough as nails. But you can be very rash and act before you think. You are, however, totally there for your friends when they need you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
that is me, isn't it? If I had to say if I was Aquaman, that's how I would describe myself.
Look, there's a BuzzFeed one. I don't know if you want to do that all again. But...
Yes. You gotta do it now. You gotta do it.
Okay, I'll do this one then.
Which word describes you best? Emo. Intelligent. Hedonist. Determined.
Holy shit.
Determined, honorable, or hyperactive?
Oof. I feel like I'm honorable. Like, I'm gonna say that if I'm the one taking the quiz, but I don't know if I live up to the superhero standard of honorable. I do seek pleasure.
You an hedonist? You think that describes you best?
Oh, see,
Determined?
I feel like I'm an asshole if I'm like, yeah, I'm honorable.
Emo?
Put honorable down, you know.
Okay.
So I
If
don't
you could
know.
be the hero of one of these
Okay.
cities,
Okay.
which would you choose? Mexico City, New York, Berlin, Tokyo, Rio, or London?
So I'm assuming, okay, the hero of one of the cities.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's actually a tough one. Definitely don't want
It's
to
a
be the
cool
hero of Mexico
question.
City. That sounds bad. I just feel like out of all the options, it's not the most grand, is what I'm trying to say.
Fair.
New York, that's a classic. Can't beat that. Berlin,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. I don't know much about
Could be
Berlin,
cool.
but I imagine
Good
it's
city.
Tokyo, that would be kind of hype as well. A little neon kind of aesthetic. Rio, that would be unique. That would be very unique.
Yeah.
London has a lot of knife crime. I know that. Depending on what my power is, I feel like I could handle that. I'm gonna go with London.
For ease.
Yeah. Like the way I worked that one out.
Yeah. Okay. Choose a lame superpower.
Oh no, I'm never gonna last in London. Lame superpower.
Turning ketchup into mustard and vice versa. Being able to communicate with flies. Manipulating cheese to your will. Being able to move in slow motion. Radioactive puke. Or rainbow creation.
So what does it mean? Like, is this gonna be my superpower, or is it just like, oh, out of all the lame superpowers, here's the lamest, or like?
I think if you had to have one of these 6, which one would you choose? And it's just telling you that they are lame.
Listen, okay. Being able to move in slow motion. Is that lame? What does that mean?
I mean, it's definitely not. It means like you'd be moving in slow motion and no one else would.
Yeah, no, that's kind of lame. I'm gonna go with. I feel like if I communicate with flies, I can make like some pretty insane like storms of flies. I'm gonna go with flies.
Yeah, I was thinking that same one. Okay. Choose a member of the Suicide Squad to be your nemesis.
No.
Katana, Rick Flag, Enchantress, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, or the Joker?
That's actually kind of rough, okay? Because, all right, let's go through it. Joker? God, no. I do not want to go up
You
against...
unironically don't want no beef.
I do not want any beef with Jared Leto's Joker, especially if my power is to send flies after him. Same thing with, like, Enchantress, who's literally a magical god that could instantly kill me. Okay. Katana? Her sword traps the soul of its enemies.
Fuck that.
Rick Flag?
Dude, that's like Christian punishment. That's like hell. I don't want my soul trapped.
Right, just in her sword too. Like you're just fucking Harley Quinn. I feel like she's pretty dangerous. Deadshot.
But having Harley as your nemesis is also having Joker as your nemesis.
Right, that's a good point.
She's his queen.
God help anyone who disrespects the queen.
Yeah,
it's a good point. So yeah, I don't want to do that. Then leave the two gun wielding characters. Deadshot, the most effective marksman in the world. So no. My only choice then is Rick Flag because he's slightly not as good as Deadshot. So yeah,
never
I guess
heard of him.
He's just a soldier. He's literally just a soldier.
What's your worst trait? Insecure, vain, proud, selfish, impatient, or irresponsible?
Definitely insecure. Way too easy.
Okay. Which romantic spot would you bring a date? Mm-hmm. Drive-in movie theater, weekend retreat, dinner at a very fancy venue. This is kind of sounding a little sports event, a museum, or a huge party.
Oh. Okay. Let's see. I guess if I'm going by the same logic you did, which is like the perfect date, not necessarily like it's a first date, right?
Yeah.
So with that out the window, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to put not to copy you, but I feel like museum is perfect, right?
Yeah.
Here's the problem with going on a date to a movie regardless. There's not much opportunity to get to have interaction. I feel like, welcome to dating podcast, guys. Except I'm not the one you should be taking advice from. All right, go ahead. What's the next question?
Okay, so then the next question is, who are you? And you got Wonder Woman.
No.
Dude, you're Wonder Woman, kid.
Can you change? Please, can we go back?
Yeah, you can't actually change your answers.
Damn it. Okay, well, does that have a reason?
Wait, it probably does. Let's see. You're strong and independent and absolutely not afraid to grab the reins in any situation. Your fierce independence can make it really tough.
What?
Yeah, sure. Your fierce independence can make it really tough for you to work easily with others, and you always put your goals ahead of the goals of others in group situations. Yeah. As soon as you can learn to channel your strength into being a good leader, you'll be the savior the world has been waiting for. This post was translated from Spanish.
Well, this just in, guys. I wonder. I hope someone got a little entertainment value out of that whole little quiz thing. I thought it'd be a fun way to cap off the podcast.
Yeah.
Guys, let's enter the outro portion where, first of all, obligatory. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Honestly, no. I haven't been working on anything. Oh, yeah. How about this? Check out King Reef on Spotify and other streaming platforms. It's Ewan's musical project. Okay. He has one EP out, self-titled, and he's about to drop a second one on which, I don't know if I should say this because I don't know how good my contributions are going to be, but I'm doing the drumming for it.
Shit.
Yeah, and I have no training or practice or like previous experience on the drums. But it should be interesting, and the music is good regardless.
Okay. Yeah, guys, check it out. Link will be in the description below. What I have to plug, guys, please do the giveaway. If you're listening, if you've somehow made it this far, if you're listening, I don't care who you are at this point. Literally. Please do the giveaway. Literally, it's just, I guess it gets funnier each time that no one does it. I don't know.
There's someone out there who's like, I could do the giveaway, but man, is it getting funny. It's just too good.
And then there's someone else out there who's like, this is it. Like a little Shrek 2 reference.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, but guys, please do that. Also, more important, possibly, or just as important, we're going to put a poll up. We're actually going to follow the poll this time for what episode comes next. So we're going to brainstorm a few solid ideas, throw it up there. Feel free to respond to that poll or swipe up with a suggestion of your own. And just make sure to stay tuned, subscribe to Filmatic Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, at Filmatic Podcast. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Remember, justice is gray, and today's the day that you could win the Filmatic giveaway to see the Suicide Squad on DVD. Justin, you want to send him away with anything?
Yeah. Hop on Fistful Frags at any point. It's a very low, very small player base. We need some more people.
This is the real thing we should be plugging, guys. For step 1, download Steam / open Steam if you have it. Step 2, download Fistful of Frags. It's a free game on Steam. Step 3,
low system requirements.
Very low system requirements.
I can play it. You can play it.
If Justin can play it, you can play it. Step 3, friend us on Steam. Our usernames will be below in the annotated bibliography. I believe mine is at Nabeel 2E's _. I'm not totally sure, but it'll be below. And just message us. Let us know when you want to play, and we'll be on with you. It's a great game if you like westerns, if you like shooters. And we're probably going to go do that right now and check it out. So,
see ya.
All right, guys. Peace out. Filmatic Podcast. Out of here. See you next time.